Yeah, so then to know why my media and my money and my paychecks aren't as smooth while I was already in college and they were trying to just interfere with my working. So when somebody likes to clock into work, right? 9 to 5, 10 to 9, work the night shift, become a hustler. If I was on the news in front of the entire state on television, you cannot try to stop somebody from making money by clocking in 9 to 5. How on earth I clock in 9 to 5 and you try to arrest somebody for clocking into a 9 to 5 while they're attending college? I had 3 jobs. That's how I wrote the song Night Shift. Then I had like more jobs after that. How you have 4 or 5 police officers try to arrest somebody for working 3 jobs and going to college for like 6 years and then go to his mom's apartment, and then that causes financial what interferences to slower the rate of the money that he can make, that could then help his mom. So then he gotta record things and go through PTSD because they're limiting his access to explain it while he already has trademarks with the United States that could help make his money back faster. How does somebody have trademarks with the United States and then have the police try to arrest him for going to college and working 9 to 5 to work? Like, I don't want to list the amount of work I had to put in for them to label him black while his mom is white. And I grew up with my mom because they deported my dad. How does that make sense in history to not have the money move smoother when I have Constant Cash Records, World Music Innovations, The Winners Club, and Coconut Kingdom family with the United States government, and then have the person I said, here, hold some of this money, then disappear instead of reappear? None of that makes sense to somebody who was in college that long and then have the teachers and this or that never do what he did after he write 97 records and 34 of them collab with World Music Innovations, to have his money slowed, to have the judge, right, with the United States and my lawyer with Hawaii give me a lower check than the cost of living and call me a soul survivor on paper, legally, and then not have me have what a check that's meeting the cost of living, and then have to show things that's not supposed to be or doesn't have to be shown. You don't have to start showing images of you that you got when you were actually in the hospital, and then to show that the hospital is the only person to provide the camera to know that that's the reason why they would have called you a soul survivor and have the United States give you a check, but then it not meet the cost of living, but then you own World Music Innovations and Constant Cash and write 97 records that goes to more than 50 countries, more than 50 cities, more than all 50 states the records went to. But now Apple Music, Spotify, and the government and the state go to his house to put a restraining order on me, who's the photographer of the person. I would have been the person to save the person with all the photos, with every... How you put a restraining order on a photographer that has United States trademarks, that has the record label Constant Cash, World Music Innovations, Coconut Kingdom, with the state and the United States, to then have him have a slower rate of making money, and then have his Josh Ford show, which is Joshua Elijah Ford, not be able to upload YouTube videos and he's Google IT certified, which is one of the highest levels of coding in Google and one of the hardest ones, still hard to even understand. But then he cannot upload videos on his YouTube channel now, which is his Josh Ford Show, which he started from 2011 and now it's 2026. That's why once I start hearing my mom yell for no reason at me while I'm only in my own room when I pay the rent to tell me to be quiet and shut up, who has the medicine that I could use, while there's 24 states that's recreational cannabis, and then have all the people that's around me, right, then interfere by stealing my money, my sleep, and then not returning any of the cannabis that's legal in 24 states. But now in Hawaii, in the 50th state, after I write the song White and Green and 808 All Day, to go through all these legal torturous interference accounts, to then have my own health and my own blood pressure and the list of all of this. And I don't want to go through all of these things, right? Because then I got to become a doctor to then list all of the things I've been through while I was an oncology patient. And those are the people who all are able to get legal cannabis because he went through that. And there's only certain things that could help somebody, right, that go through certain health issues. That's not crystal meth. That the police are bringing cocaine and crystal meth to the schools and try to have me, who was a college student, who was performing in exclusive vintage university gear, also to have me across the globe as an all-star, right? Have me in Miami, have me in Las Vegas, have me in California, who was a health occupation student of America, certified student, to that have me go to college. But I had to pay my own way to college because then, for some odd reason, there's not enough grants when I go to even have enough money. While I'm holding the Curry card, the Del Curry, which is the forefathers, right? I'm holding the forefathers. Now they don't use black box and safety deposit at banks to make sure that they can say that we're holding on to some of the finest, most trusted products in America, worth the most. Now I gotta hold it in front of me like I'm in the Medellin or Colombia, but I'm in the United States with state and federal government. Then I have a passport with the United States, and they say, send me a text saying I cannot get certified to have my cannabis and my marijuana after I write the song Marijuana. So I write the song Marijuana. 24 states have recreational. You can walk into the store. But a person who almost, I bled to death almost. But I survived. Like, I held on. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna leave the game like on some Call of Duty. Like, and now everybody's playing the game Call of Duty going to war when I wanted to stay peace, love, happiness. All I wanted was my medicine. And now they're saying he cannot use his YouTube channel or have his medicine. And I'm minding my own business. I was feeding women and children and even older guys than me while we have pizza parties, while I do 2 hours in the club on the stage, while I'm in the club giving back to the community. How does that make sense to then have a lady walk to his door to say that my sister and me, who would, how they about to say I owe them $5,000 when my patent with the United States and my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel would be generating more than that, to then give him 1 penny. And you cannot legally see a check for 1 penny before 1938. And they were making more than that, more than 25 cents even after. To never legally see a 1 penny check after I have the Penny Hardaway official cards that's worth more than millions. And now nobody can protect any of this. And then you have people that are older than him who tried to rob him in the community, half of his cards, right? They took half of the cards and put the Michael Jordan cards on their walls. They put the cards on their bathroom walls, and that's my Michael Jordan cards in the community. And they said they don't use soap. They don't have soap in the bathroom, and I'm the holder that has all of the cards. What family is that owes me the money, that would talk disrespectfully in front of public domain, that knows I get busy with it, but don't gotta go fight 8-footers later on in life? After 6 years of college, after peace, love, happiness, after going state to state international, spreading my music, 97 records, even collabs, right? But then say 77 records of his that aren't collabs, to then not have the money actually enter my hands, while then we have other people who are foreigners say they're the biggest marijuana growers and then make more cash than me in my backyard, while the money is not being delivered to me. And then I have them saying they're accountants that are marijuana growers who I would ball against any day of the week with the ball in my hand. But this is after I have health issues and health problems, while they're all on drugs like zombies now, on methamphetamines and crystals, the stuff the police said dare and brought to school when we was in like first grade. How does this make sense to be happening in 2026? And then I gotta share in front of the public domain because my voice, after I was just already an all-star, even Jack in the Box deals, Dairy Queen deals, all the reasons why everybody loves me, and now I don't have my deals anymore, and the money for some odd reason is lower than the cost of living. None of this makes sense at all to be happening to Joshua Elijah Ford versus Hawaii State versus Wisconsin State versus Apple Music versus Spotify Music. But I'm over here. I love to shake hands with everybody and make money and eat food and make bread and dough with everybody versus etc. because I gotta then communicate my claims because how they supposed to repo the vehicle, everything was all good just a week ago, and now I cannot do this, but I'm cleaner and fresher than everybody who ever wore clothes, rocking Saya satin, gotta go MIA, discuss things, 411 compromise, and still make it happen, and then have my mom say this or that, while I gotta bring home the money still because she's retired, but then have more medicine than me after I was the one in oncology. None of that makes sense, that I gotta then describe in word and camera and then say, nope, I'm not gonna listen to the person who just jumped up out of their bed like a zombie from Call of Duty. And then if she attacked me, my own mom, while I lock the doors, I gotta then start dropping people left and right like Call of Duty zombies. Nope, I'm not listening. Imagine then there's something in the water. Imagine they put something in the water. Just like how everybody been saying. Who had to write a record? La Russell wrote something in the water. Pharrell did it first, something in the water. Now I gotta feel like there's something in the water too, because everybody else hold on to more cannabis and more money than him now. How on earth would World Music Innovations, Coconut Kingdom, The Winners Club, Constant Cash, all trademarked with the United States and the state government, go through any of that? who went to college longer than them, and then to perform at the universities itself. Even outside in Minnesota with when I was young, exclusive vintage Michael Jordan. So yeah, somebody legally cannot go through all of these offenses and interferences in real life and then have to show the proof on his YouTube channels, his Facebook. He's gonna upload it to Snapchat of why lawyers would put restraining or would want him to go to them for help on a restraining order. What is a restraining order to a single person? It's me. It's Joshua Elijah Ford. But then those lawyers from the state that interfere on him, I never been to those states in my life that didn't interfere on me to have lawyers send me what? They send me legal letters. Only thing is, you're supposed to collect my money, my back pay. At least from the 77 records, which is 96 records, and then not even what? Give him a cost of living wage. Once the lawyers and the judge, I gotta go then sit in front of the lawyers and the judge in front of camera and then hear them give me a lower check than the cost of living, and I cannot appeal that? How does that make sense? This is Joshua Elijah Ford versus the United States federal government and all of the states, including Hawaii, to then have recreational cannabis, but the oncology patient not able to have it and then not able to